Okay, we are live. We are live. Hey guys, adult beverage Friday. So here's my drink. And happy holidays to all of you. And guys, we are also celebrating the 100K party. We are at 100K. That's pretty amazing. Hello there, Maverick Madison, Nieto Sack, Great Gold, Jason Jones, Outer Spacey, Magic Rat, Store Media, Andre. Hello, Andre. James Mason. Who did I miss? Probably I have to scroll up here. I missed many here. Art Constantino, Eurelian, sorry, Gamer, Larry, Entire Meyer, Nonoff, Pete, Saka Email, and Nemo777, always early. So, Kellogg, Daniel, hello, Media by Godon, A. Sanchez, YMKRT, Mark, Millie Berg, Gord Sister, Maxi Brew, Pastora, hello, CA, Carol AA. So, guys, this is kind of amazing. And I just to summarize where all this started, for those of you who haven't really followed, my social media history here over the years. I started off in, is it 6 years ago now? I think 6 years ago now. I started on Periscope, and that was the first video streaming. And I was streaming on Periscope every day, 2 hours a day, sometimes 3 hours a day, every single day, and that's how it started. And I got it up to 30,000 followers on Periscope, and then in Periscope kind of just died, and then I switched over to YouTube about 2 years ago. Tellurian, hello Tellurian, Globalcom. So I switched over to YouTube 2 years ago, and you just don't understand how difficult that is to start from scratch on a new platform from scratch. I didn't even know how to make videos, since everything I was doing was live stream. This is the kind of stuff I was doing, live streams, and to switch to doing videos was kind of tricky. And I look back at those early videos, and they suck. Those early videos suck. Thank you, Pastora. Thank you, Mitchell Valentino, King Singh, OJ Stomper, Larry. So I think by the time I got to my first year, I believe I got to close to 10,000 by the first year, maybe 8,000 for the first year from zero. So from zero to 8,000 the first year. And then from 8,000 to whatever we're going to reach, 100, over a 100, obviously, in 1 year, from 8,000 to, maybe I'll get to 1,000, 100,000, 108,000. Then I can say I got 100,000 in 1 year. It's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your support. Now, what actually happens is, for some of you who ever think about making YouTube videos, it's actually the algorithm. I don't really know how it decides to just push your videos. I don't have any idea. So a few months ago, it started to push my old videos, the videos I made last year. So, videos I thought were not interesting enough because nobody was watching them, and YouTube shared my old videos, and those are the ones that got, 500,000 views per video. So it's like, whoa. So it's the early videos. So the new videos are doing okay, but maybe they'll perform next year. So I don't know how they choose this. Don't really have any idea. So the video is laggy. Wow. It said that, but I don't know why, because it's feeding 4K video to YouTube here. So it's feeding 4K. So let me see. Yeah, it's okay right this moment. So I'll keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. So when it pauses, if it turns red or something, then I'll slow down. But it's a 4K video right now. But anyway, so it's basically close to 100,000 in so far, with like 90 some thousand subscribers in 1 year. 1 year. So that's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. So hopefully it's not lagging now, because I'm feeding it, 5K, 5,000, actually up to 5,900 kilobits per second. So I'm feeding it a lot. So this is about as high as it can go. So it's like, it's 4K. I'm feeding YouTube 4K. So I don't know what's happening. You don't need 4K. Well, it's not about you needing 4K. I'm just feeding 4K to YouTube, and then YouTube then encodes it to different resolutions. So when the video comes in YouTube, they actually split it off into 720p, 480p, 1080p, and then some 4K. So that's how it works. But the actual video will be stored as 4K. So, okay. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe people are gaming or something. I have no idea. Max it out. Okay. So, that, I can't really predict, it's easy to say that, I actually know what happens when people choose my videos, and I actually have no idea. So for whatever reason, the algorithm thinks that you liked it, and then it feeds you more. And it's Virendra Carpenter. So who knows? I don't really know. I just try my best here. Sometimes, topics seem like, to me, like it's not that interesting. Like I made a video about browsers, and I figure out nobody's going to watch this. Ultra popular. I make a side video on de-Google phones, but it's not the main one. It's just the side of the original video I made, kind of like, backgrounder. And the side video actually had more views than the original video. So I can't really tell. So I just have to do my best here and try it, because I don't really know. Believe it or not, I don't decide, how the videos are received. It's basically based on how you react to it initially, and then the algorithm decides, oh, you reacted to it well, so we might feed the video later. So I have for example, my video from a week ago about Apple and Louis Rossmann did very well, and then it stopped now. So now YouTube is not feeding it outside of my subscriber base, but they might in the future. But at the moment, it's flat again, and then it suddenly jumps. It sometimes takes weeks to decide, okay, we're going to feed your video. And I wish I understood. I really don't. So, you might say it's just luck that I got here, but I hope not. All I'm doing is doing the best that I can to come up with quality videos, and then let the chips fall, because I don't really know. So I know that the quality of my videos are probably no worse than other people who have twice or triple my traffic. So that's all I know. Beyond that, I'm just shooting for the best. So anyway, thank you again for helping me reach 100,000, and let's shoot for 200 by the mid-year. 200 by the mid-year, and let's see where it comes to by the end of next year. Maybe 500. So hopefully. So suffice it to say, the channel's doing well now, and after years of basically having no income on this, it's kind of nice to see some income coming in, and the channel is going to be sustained. And thank you again to those who support this channel on Patreon, because all of this helps. You just don't understand how difficult it is to do this full time with nothing else, And I don't even do what I used to do, which is to do programming. I don't even do that anymore because I don't have time to do it. I just have to focus on doing this. I also apologize to people who try to talk to me on Braxme, and I'm not able to respond to you individually as I used to because there's too many people now. And it's, you can see me trying to respond to every comment on YouTube, and it's really hard to do that. And I'm one of the few creators who still try to respond to every comment, including old videos, if they're worth commenting on. If you just leave a nasty comment, then I may not respond. But for people who leave a good comment or ask a question, I often will answer, even today, for a video that's old. So I always look at that and kind of do what I do on the live stream. I interact and answer your questions. So I'm one of the few creators that would do that. In any case, before I go on to the main topic, let me just tell you that part of the success, of course, is from our sponsors. And this video is sponsored by Linode. So Linode is a sponsor of my live streams. And I tell Linode that, hey, my hardcore supporters are actually on the live stream. So it's a pretty intense group. And I thank you for watching my live streams because it's the people who actually interact with me who are on here. And what is Linode for? So if you need your own server, I've often told you that sometimes the most secure environment for you is to have your own server. So if you have your own Nextcloud server, your own Jitsi server, your own okay, that's pretty crazy. So the network starts to go down. Wow. Unstable network, the Wi-Fi. I'm getting some sort of problem here. The Wi-Fi is like going crazy, so I had to change Wi-Fi's. So I just keeping an eye on it, and it's jumping up and down. So wow, bad timing here. It's mostly up there, but keeps dropping. Losing frames. It's losing frames. So, darn. Losing frames, and people are actually leaving now. They're leaving the broadcast because I'm losing frames. I'm sorry about that. Waiting for it to stabilize. Waiting for it to stabilize before I continue here. Yeah, it would go like 4,000 kilobits and then drop down to 0. So it's not good. It's not good. Okay, greetings from Africa, Lewis. And then, hey now, Kato Floyd, Galactic Peace, Maverick Madison. Trying to squeeze in what I can, even as it goes up and down here. So, okay, it's there's like a little red signal on the OBS here telling me it's screwed up. So it's bad. So hopefully it'll stabilize in a second here. It's very bad. Still working, but up and down. So this is hard because now I have to keep looking at the screen to see how much of my words are being lost. I'll mention Linode later again. Because that's not fair, I got cut there. So anyway, Stardust is watching from China. Really, we are visible in China. So anyway, the question of today, and by the way, I have my adult beverage here right now. The question, by the way, is, what phones can you de-Google? I get asked this all the time. People say, okay, I'm going to, send you my phone. Can you de-Google my LG, WS99 VS995 model, and I say hell no. So and somebody says, oh, I just bought a brand new Galaxy S10, S20, can you de-Google this? I have a Galaxy S9, from Sprint, can I de-Google this? So I'm going to try to answer you and about which phones can actually be de-Googled and why that is. So generally, to de-Google a phone, the first question is you have to be permitted to do something called OEM unlocking. So you have to be able to unlock the bootloader. If you can't do that, you cannot change the OS. So because it's a secret, we don't know, we don't have the software. The software that is used to unlock bootloaders on Android is something called ADB fast boot. So if you use that, then it's pretty standard among most of the Androids. There are exceptions. For example, Samsung uses a completely different one. And so if you have to learn, because Samsung uses a completely different bootloader program. Now, so that's one thing is the bootloader. Now, for whatever reason, some manufacturers will allow an OEM to lock the bootloader. So as an example, a Pixel. So this is one of the most important phones to talk about. And a Pixel from Google can be bought from the Google Store. And when you buy it from the Google Store, it's called the Google Edition. Okay? So a Google Edition phone almost always can be de-Googled. So if it's from the Google Store, Google Edition, almost always you can de-Google. Although you cannot de-Google the latest version. Often you have to wait, like a year or many months, almost a year, before you can do it. So, for example, right now the highest Pixel you can de-Google is a Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL. You cannot de-Google a brand new Pixel 5. That's impossible. Okay? So no one can do that. Okay? So the reason is somebody has to try it out, get the phone, and then one of those people who buy it have to be able to afford it and then start programming. So programmer has to buy the model and actually play with it, and so you actually have to be dependent on volunteers to do this. So the biggest organization or group of people that do flashing custom ROMs is Lineage OS. That's the biggest community. So they go into Lineage OS, they get the current version right now is Lineage 17.1, which is Android 10. They take that code and then they try it on the phone, and then they fix bugs and so on, and then until they make it work. And for that reason, you cannot get a de-Googled phone for the current model. You're always a year behind, typically. And on some models, you can be 2 years, 3 years behind. So it depends. So you got to get to a mass. If the phone isn't popular, you're not going to get many supporters. The popular phones are going to be heavily supported if they can be supported. So as an example, a Google Pixel is very, very heavily supported, so that you can always de-Google as long as you buy it from the Google Store. So if you're thinking about buying a new phone, Android, and you're saying, okay, I'm looking at these Pixel 5s, where should I buy this? Oh, Verizon has a discount. Oh, T-Mobile has a discount. They're offering, monthly payments and all this. Oh, AT&T is offering whatever. Sprint is offering this. Stop. You're going to waste your money. As a general tip, this is a general tip if you ever want to have better sellability of your phone in the long run, as well as compatibility for degoogling, do not buy your phone from any zucking carrier. No, don't buy your phone from Verizon, from AT&T, from T-Mobile, nothing. No brand. It has to have no carrier branding. If it's carrier branded, 99% of the time, you cannot OEM unlock it, or sometimes even unlock it. Often it's locked to the carrier. And then you have to negotiate with them before they will unlock it. They'll say, well, you have to pay, you have to hold it for a year. And basically, the reason people buy the phones from the carrier is because they want a monthly payment. So you're better off just, using a credit card and paying it monthly there than buying it from a carrier, because the phone actually loses value. Because, I don't have any use of a Pixel that is, X amount of months old, and it's not from Google Store. It's not a Google edition. I can't de-Google that, so I'll waste my time. So I return those kinds of phones all day. So 50% of the Pixels I have to buy, I got to return because they're not Google Store, Google edition. So even if you buy a brand new Pixel 5 today, guaranteed you can de-Google that next year. And someone will want to de-Google that next year. In fact, I'll buy it from you next year if you keep it in nice condition. So Pixel 5 is always good. Now, of course, it's expensive to have a current model phone. The other thing that I want you to consider is when you get a phone, sometimes what is the real problem with a phone and phone models? Is there really a big difference between a Pixel 3 and a Pixel 4? To be honest with you, no. Is there really a big difference between an iPhone 10 and an iPhone 12? No. Okay, so it's all these companies are doing marketing and making you think that somehow these fantabulous cameras are supposed to make that much difference, and the super CPU is going to make difference for all the little things that you do, which is just scroll around. I mean, you're not doing anything different on your phone. It's going to work. So, for example, I have a large stock now of Pixel XLs. Okay, original Pixel XLs. But the stock I got are brand new Pixel XLs. I got a lot of them. Pixel XLs. They're an old model, but they're brand new. Now, what is the significance of that? If it's brand new, there are no battery problems. It works well. It works great. There are no battery problems. It's 100% clean. It's never been used. So they're overstocked from Google. I got a large supply of an overstock of Pixel XLs. They're great. Now, I haven't found an overstock of Pixel 3s. Maybe next year I'll find an overstock of Pixel 3s. Right now, it's very hard to get a Pixel 3 or Pixel 4 because they're very expensive. So, for me, I have to buy them. I can't buy them in quantity. It's not available. And the other thing is the cost. So Pixel 4s, Pixel XLs are very cheap. So, I sell them for $269 with de-Googled, including the time to de-Google it. So, they're very, very reasonable. So you can actually give them to your kids and give them a de-Googled phone. It's not going to break the bank. So that's one of the clues. So Pixel phones from the Google Store, not from Verizon, not from AT&T, or international is good too. International Pixels are good. Okay, so international Pixels or not U.S. carrier branded Pixels are fine for de-Googling. And it's almost guaranteed that even if the phone is not currently de-Googlable like a Pixel 5, it will be next year. Guaranteed. No problem there. Now, what about some brands that are kind of in between? The brands that have some issues are LG and Samsung. Now, Samsungs can be de-Googled only if they're international. There's a very specific model. They have to be G995 or 960 or F. It can't be a Verizon model, can't be a AT&T model, can't be a T-Mobile, can't be anything US actually. No US model works. So you're saying, well, I have a US model Samsung. Can I de-Google it? Don't even ask me. The answer is no. If you bought it in the US, no, it cannot be done. Sell it. Now, this is another trick for you. It's actually very easy to sell phones. So sell it. You can sell it and then get a de-Googled phone from me or anybody else who wants to sell you one. Yeah, it's easy to sell phone. Very easy. So you can sell phones on eBay as long as the price is, market price, and you keep the condition good. Or even if it's not good, as long as the price reflects the condition, somebody will buy it. So Samsung phones pretty much are very limited to international ones, and that's hard to get in the US, to get international Samsung phones. So I don't really stock Samsung phones myself because it's kind of hard to do that. LG phones, again, very hard to find stock of the ones that are not from Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint. So it's a pain. So I don't do any LGs. So LGs is kind of a pain. Now, let's talk about Chinese models. In general, Chinese models are OEM unlockable as long as they're not sold to a carrier, and most of them are not. And sometimes even if they're sold to a carrier, they can be unlocked. And some are more tedious to unlock than others, but in general, I'm going to make the statement that some manufacturers are actually promoting the use of AOSP de-Googled phones. And an example of that is OnePlus. So OnePlus, Oppo, Xiaomi, and I've never done a Xiaomi, but it's listed on there. Those are all pretty much de-Googleable. I don't do them. I only do OnePlus. I don't do Oppo. So far. I haven't done any Xiaomis. So the ones I do a lot of is the Motorola. Motorola is actually Lenovo. It's also a Chinese brand. So Lenovo, I do a lot of. So Lenovo makes it hard to unlock because you have to log into the website and give away your secrets before they will give you an unlock code. However, it's beyond that, it's not really been a problem. And I unlock it for you, and when you buy it from me, I unlock it for you, and you're all set. So it's not a problem with Lenovo phones. Almost all of them will work. The new one is a G8. Is not yet de-Googleable, but I'm sure that in a few months it will be. But at the moment it's not. But you can de-Google up to a OnePlus 7, OnePlus 7 Pro. I don't sell those. They're kind of expensive because they're brand new. So I stop at a OnePlus 6. OnePlus 6. By the way, the one that says on the OnePlus, if the model has a T at the end, it means it's tied to a telephone carrier. So, for example, if it's a T, it could be branded to Verizon or somebody. So I don't do any Ts. They're a pain. So they're hard to unlock. So OnePluses with the Ts, I don't do. So I don't do OnePlus XT. I have done them. They're very difficult to do. So, if you're going to do them, you have to unlock it yourself and then give it to me unlocked already. Okay, so no Ts. So Motorola's are often good. New Motorola's. Not all Motorola's are supported at every time, but eventually they are. And they're good and inexpensive. So the nice thing about Motorola is the price is good. So Pixels are the most expensive. Samsungs are the most expensive. So Pixels are the most reliable. They work with everything. So some of you have problems with a phone and you say, well, it doesn't work 100% with Verizon. Now, let me just, for those of you international, you don't have to worry about this, but let me just rant. I hate Verizon. It's the most difficult company to work with phones. It's the most difficult. They just out of the blue will say, well, we don't support your phone, but then it runs. We won't give you a SIM card, but if you transfer a SIM card from another phone, it works. They'll take the SIM and say, well, your phone is not compatible. Then they'll say your phone is compatible, but then it only goes to 3G. I don't understand it. Okay? I think they have a bug in their system, and Verizon is a pain. So if I were you, if you find a way to avoid Verizon, you will find that AT&T and T-Mobile are actually much easier to work with. And the secondary benefit is your phone is compatible internationally. Okay? So internationally, you go with your AT&T T-Mobile phone. It will work fine. So you don't have to worry about that. Nobody's traveling right now, so you don't have to worry about this, but you may in the future. So AT&T gives all network to DEA. AT&T spies on your traffic, on your email and all your internet and gives it to the three-letter agencies. I don't know what you're talking about. They are the collectors for the National Ducking Agency. So, but they take the traffic from all networks and consolidate it and send it to the National Ducking Agency. So that doesn't exempt any of the other carriers. T-Mobile did the same thing to me that you said Verizon did. I have TMO now. It's a matter of probability. The probability of T-Mobile giving you a problem is 10%. The probability of Verizon giving you a problem is 50%. So Mint is just a reseller of T-Mobile or AT&T. Mint, Cricket, these are called MVNO. So, Ting, all of those. So they're called MVNOs. They're resellers of the main carriers. So if you're getting a Chinese phone, first of all, some of you will say, why are you talking about Chinese phones? Are you CCP? It's the most tiring thing I gotta hear. I'm zucking American, okay? Don't call me zucking CCP. Just, boggles the mind. It just boggles the mind. I've never been to China. I'm not Chinese and I've never been to China, but I live in LA. There's I have lots of Chinese friends and I have a lot of everybody's friends. So the point is, just because they're in China, understand that when we put the software, Lineage OS, it's open source. So we take the existing hardware, we put whatever software they have on it, we take that out and we replace it with Lineage OS. Okay, so we're putting an open source AOSP that comes directly from Android AOSP, which of course Google supervises. So we're not going to find any crazy code in there because we can look at the source code. I can look at the source code. Very easy. Go Android website with the source code on there, and I can read it. Okay. So based on that, let me just make this other comment now relating to Chinese brands, and the Chinese brand we're going to talk about is specifically Huawei. Okay, as you all know, Huawei is banned in the U.S., so we don't get to see Huawei phones in the U.S. They've been accused of spying in Canada, I believe, and then the U.S. banned them here. So, what's the problem? Do I believe in the claims of spying and all that? That aside, I'm not going to get into that because, well, I just won't get into it. You may want to get into it, but if you believe that Huawei is not spying, you could believe it either way. They're spying or not spying. That's up to you to believe. But just understand the next point. Huawei locked the bootloader. So when you buy a Huawei phone, a new one, P40, one of those top-end phones, they are de-Googled. There's no Google on them. They actually are de-Googled. They're Huawei though. They have, Huawei store and everything from Huawei. There is nothing Google from it. The problem, folks, is that they lock the bootloader. So they say, well, it's Harmony OS and Harmony OS is open source and whatever. They locked the bootloader. So you can't change the apps. You can't change anything. You're stuck with whatever they put on the phone, including if they put spyware in there. And we're not going to know because you cannot unlock the phone. It's bootloader locked. So in my case, I'm going to say, why am I going to take a risk? First of all, why would I want a OS that I can't control? I want, the whole point of de-Googling is to be able to control with an open source OS that So I'm not going to go use a Harmony OS. I don't know what that is. What else did they put on there? They can put any app on there. They can put any app in the OEM section. And we don't have any control over that. They locked the bootloader. So if you ask me, I would never zucking buy a Huawei. No. Now you can buy some old Huaweis because they probably didn't lock the bootloader on the old ones, like P20s, things like that. 2015 maybe. I'm not familiar with Huawei's. I've never had one, never touched one. But people just mention it to me. So you can probably do Lineage OS on an old Huawei, but not on the new one. So don't buy new ones and say, oh, I'm going to buy Huawei because it's already de-Googled. Well, if you want a de-Googled phone, OnePlus actually installs Oxygen OS, which is actually a AOSP, but I believe they put the Google Store in there. So you want one without the Google Store, so you really have to undo all that. So the only way to do that is to install it fresh with a brand new OS that doesn't have gaps. So you're kind of stuck. So when I make my choices of models, it's because I can get them in volume. They're easy to buy. They're reliable. They don't have any quirks. Some of them have quirks. It takes a while. Even a OnePlus 6, from a company that already supports bootloader unlocking, it was very difficult to learn how to unlock a OnePlus 6, how to install on a OnePlus 6. But once you figure it out, it's fine, but it just took a while. I had to basically brick the phone, so many times, and I have to learn how to unbrick him, and it takes up to 2 weeks to learn a phone. 2 weeks. That's why I don't want to just take any phone. If I have not done it, I can't guarantee it'll work. Okay, so no Huawei. At least that's what I recommend. No Huawei. Okay, now what are you going to install on the phone? I installed Lineage OS. Lineage OS without gaps. And that, to me, is great. Android 10 has very good security. Don't see an issue. For privacy, that's all you need. There's nothing else you need. Now, some people claim that, some OSs have, are hardened for this and for that. And I don't really want to talk about them because they kind of have some hardcore followers that, push certain issues, and I don't really, I'm not interested in what they're pushing. So, to be honest with you, it doesn't have anything to do with privacy. You are just fine with Lineage OS. Okay, you don't need to go through, first of all, many OSs are not necessarily compatible with every phone, whereas Lineage OS works with every phone, so it's consistent. I don't have to worry about, I sold such and such an OS to this version, and here I installed Calyx, and here I did not. And, for what we're trying to do, which is what I explain in my videos as far as privacy, none of these offer any more privacy than what we have with Android 10. Android 10 is actually pretty good. So other ASP ROMs like Resurrection, Remix, use whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you. Pretty much all ROMs are functionally the same for privacy if you do not install gaps. They just have minor interface differences, but otherwise they're fine. Remix, Resurrection, Calyx, this that they're all fine. Not going to tell you what to install. I install Lineage OS. Okay, so that's enough. Frankly, that's what I use. I don't need I have a Pixel 4. I can load something else on there. I don't. I have a Samsung S9. I can load something else on that. I don't. I'm trying to install Lineage on that. Is there any Googleable Motorola with AMOLED display? I don't know about the new ones. AMOLED is not really. I'm going to tell you about AMOLED on Pixel 3s. I sold a bunch of Pixel 3s that have screen burn, and I had to discount them because they were, I bought them and they were screen burned. And so I had to lose money on them because that's what is common among Pixel 3s with AMOLED. So if you leave it on all the time, it will cause a screen burn. So, don't be, oh, it's so sharp and bright and all that. But be careful because, they lose their value fast. So, yeah, look at it. All the phones I sell are pretty bright. So, what I use Ting.com and TMobile. Librem 5, my order, I ordered a year and a half ago and it's supposed to be shipping now and there's no sign it's going to ship. So, okay. So, no sign. What, is that Japanese? Robert Hardy? That looks Japanese, right? See, I don't even know. That looks kind of Japanese. Well, what do I know? Is that Japanese? Somebody can tell me. So, let's see. I sent a thumbs up. Thank you. It's Fairphone. So all the Fairphones can be de-Googled, all of them. We don't get Fairphones in the US. It's Fairphone as a EU phone. You can de-Google any Fairphone. Fairphones are good. Some Sonys, the Sony Xperia X, several models of Sony Xperia X can be de-Googled. So they're kind of expensive. So that's why I don't carry them. But some Sony Xperia X's can be de-Googled. I have a Pine phone and they updated the motherboard. I bought a new motherboard for it. I have to install it. And then no rush because I'm waiting for software to improve. And then we'll see what happens. Do you want a Fairphone? Why? Thank you, Jack. Do you ship internationally for your Pixel XL? Yes, I ship everywhere. As long as your country accepts shipments, it's fine. Some of them, stop shipments for because of COVID. But nowadays, I guess they're all taking it now. Some of my packages were lost. I lost money internationally because they don't arrive, and it's kind of a pain. And I don't know what to do about that because it's almost like no recourse. What phone do you use? Can you show it to? I'm using a Pixel 4. I don't have it on me right this moment. I'm using a Pixel 4. There are no Blackberry. There are no Blackberry phones now that you can use. I had a Blackberry 99 Bold 9900 from 2014. So yeah, that's about one of the last models you can use. And it's not really functional anymore. The browser doesn't work. Australia is a joke. Paranoid commies can't. Not gonna read that because YouTube is probably gonna censor me. How difficult is Lineage OS install? It's by phone. The experience is by phone. Some phones are easy to install. Some phones are hard to install. In general, it takes about 2 weeks to learn how to do it. Even if you already know how, it's just, in general, it's very, very difficult to figure out the quirks for every phone. So some of them have, the installation instructions don't always work. So you have to figure it out. You have to know how to unbrick it because you will brick it. So if part of my experiment is before I take a phone, I have to make sure I can unbrick it. So whatever happened to black phone? Nothing happened to black phone. Don't get a black phone. Anyone can leave their house. Really? 2 weeks to learn the install, yes. So if you don't want to dedicate the time to go research it, that's what we do. So we do it for you because we understand that, this is not, if I had to wait for every single person to say that they can de-Google, then most people will stay with Google. So I'm offering you the option. You can buy our phones or you can pay us to de-Google with a BYOD, bring your own device, as long as it's in the list of phones that we support. This is not a commercial, by the way, even though it sounds like it. I'm telling you how to de-Google. I don't care who de-Googles. There's enough of you that need help that, some of you will come to me and ask for help doing this. But I'm not telling you to come to me. How about the Google Pixel 3 refurbished? I just explained that, Mr. Benton. The only Pixel 3s that can be de-Googled are if they're from the Google store. They have to be specifically Google edition. So whatever you buy it from, you have to be able to return it because half of them are not from Google. So do not ever buy a Google from Verizon, Sprint, from a carrier. Don't buy a phone from a carrier. It'll be locked. The only phones that work are ones that you can buy from the Google store. Have you been able to relock the bootloader on Pixel XL with Lineage OS? Yes, you can relock Pixel. You cannot relock Pixel 3 and Pixel 4. You can relock a Pixel. Can YubiKey store data? No, they're not made. That's not made to store data. Phones are tracking devices. Why try to stop them? Buy a walkie-talkie. Yes. So it looks like I speak 2 languages. So we need an unlocked phone. No, the phone has to be unlocked, but there are 2 characteristics to a phone to be de-Googled. It has to be unlocked, and you must be able to do OEM unlock. So 2 issues. Unlock, OEM unlock. Okay? So I told you the characteristics of which one you can do that to. To summarize, I said you can do it to any Google that comes from Google store. They're called Google Edition. You cannot do it to any Pixel that does not come from the Google store, like Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, T-Mobile. You can't. You cannot de-Google any Samsung or LG that you buy from a carrier, such as the ones I just mentioned, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T. You cannot de-Google any Samsung or LG from them. However, they have some models that you can if it has certain numbers, and they are often the international models. Okay? So that's the only way to do it. If you're getting some other phone models like a OnePlus 6, Motorola's, especially newer Motorola's, Oppo, Xiaomi, Fairphone, new models of Sony, those all appear to work. Realme, so some of these, the Chinese models appear to work. So, except for Huawei. So, no Huawei. Okay? So, thanks. I'm just getting hangover playing Fallout 4. Do you know which Sony Xperia phones can be de-Googled? Those may be de-Googled. XZ and XZ2. I don't do them, though. I don't do them. I need 2 weeks to learn the phone, and they're too expensive for me to learn. So I don't do them. So no, none of those. You can find unlocked phones in Europe pretty easily. So in Europe, pretty much anything you buy in Europe should be unlockable. So, European versions of Samsung, LG, Google, pretty much everything should be unlockable in Europe. We're the only ones here that have a monopoly with these, or oligopoly with these carriers that lock the zucking phones. Okay? May we send you a phone to de-Google as long as it's in my list? I've already said that. I have a list on Braxme. You go in there and you check the list. If I don't sell it or it's not on the list, then it can't be done. Or I won't do it. So I'm just telling you what not to buy so you don't waste money. So, if you're going to buy a new phone now, you say, well, I want to buy a new phone. Be careful about the selection, because if you buy, like, let's say you're going to buy a Pixel, you buy it from Google Store, it's fine. You buy it from Verizon, it's not fine. Same phone. Okay? Cray, I'd consider it were fully functioning, but not in its current whip state. I found Lineage OS easy to install and de-Google with basic Linux understanding. It's not even that. It's basically undocumented things on the phone. Sometimes you have to be creative because there's no explanation why it doesn't work. They tweak it and lock it so nobody else can mess with it, and that causes issues with with it working. So, am I running out of battery here? Why am I running out of battery? Hold on. The power's gonna stop here. But why? I'm plugged in. Okay, I'm losing power, so it may cut me off. But I don't know why. Plugged in but losing power. Anyway, I may just have a few minutes here. What about Sailfish OS for Sony? Well, I can't sell you Sailfish. You have to get it from them. Sailfish is only available in Europe, so it's not available to me. So if you can install Sailfish, it's probably fine. Thank you, Watt Blitz. Russ G, can you de-Google Note 10 Plus unlocked? I gave you the conditions. So let's review that before I run out of time here. This will shut down in a moment here. But I gave you the conditions. So you ask me, can I de-Google a Samsung Note 10? Okay. What did I say about Samsung? You can't de-Google a US model. So, did you buy it from the US? Done. Zuck. End of story. Second question. You cannot de-Google a brand new model. So, could it be de-Googled in the future? Possibly, if it's not a US model. Otherwise, it's not a good choice. What about phones from Google Project 4? I don't know what that is, but I said Google Store edition phones are almost always de-Googleable. Where do you find that list of phones that you can de-Google? It's on Braxme. I already told you what they are. So again, to review, I can do Pixels up to Pixel 4 as long as they're Google edition. I will be able to do Samsung S9 at some point, but not yet. And I'm running out of battery, so this will shut down. So we probably just have a few minutes here. So if it shuts down, I just want to say thank you. So I'm going to keep going until it shuts down. Then I can do Motorola's G7, G7 Plus, G7 Power. I can do G7 power now. Um, G, yeah, I think it's only, I cannot do a G8. I can do, Pixel 3, Pixel 4, OnePlus 6, OnePlus 3. Nobody wants any older OnePlus. So the model that I do currently that's affordable is a OnePlus 6, although it should be possible to do on OnePlus 7. But I'm not going to offer it. You'd have to supply your own phone. Can we do what else? That's it. I don't do, some of the other Chinese models. I've never tried it. I've never tried an LG. I've never tried a tablet of any sort. So OnePlus 6 is the best phone. OnePlus 6 is a very nice phone. However, if you spend the money on a iPhone 4, that's even better. Because they're, model-wise, an iPhone 4 is newer. And a OnePlus 6 is equivalent to a Pixel 3. A Pixel 4 is this year's model, so that's new. Okay, I was able to plug it back in. Except I can't see your comments right now. Hold on a second here. Let's see if I can actually restore this. I think it was just a loose connection. Because it's charging now. Yeah, it says plugged in. So okay. It's so it's not completely dead yet. So sorry about that. Okay, so we got a few more minutes here. Okay. It's a miracle, yes. Okay, so yeah, it's charging, so it's actually increasing. So it says plugged in. I didn't really do anything. It's I just plugged it in and plugged it in again, pulled it out and plugged it in, and worked. So anyway, so do you install Lineage OS and then install F-Droid and Micro G separately? Yes, I do. So I install with Lineage OS. I sideload F-Droid and then some other apps and Micro G. The other apps I sideload are the old version of Waze, so that Waze will work. It's a little trick. Braxme, Micro G, F-Droid. So those are what I sideload. And then what else? You can sideload your contact list so you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. And otherwise, everything is installed from the F-Droid. Like Aurora Store is installed from F-Droid. I've heard graphene's battery life. No. In general, Lineage OS or any no gaps AOSB has very good battery life, just generally. Because you don't have the spyware from Google that takes up all the resources. Okay? So, thank you, Great Gold, for saying that. Yes, your support keeps the lights on. This is starting to, the channel, of course, is, getting bigger, and, I have staff now to help, and it's it's a lot of work to do this. So it's getting to be like a real operation here. So let's see. Does the Pixel PH you're selling for $269 run on 4G? Yes, they're 4G. It's called Pixel XL. Yeah, it runs 4G, LTE. Yeah, it's actually, Pixels are very nice phones to begin with. The first Pixel is actually very nice, but this is brand new. So an older model that's brand new, so it's, hasn't been used, so it's still in plastic. Is my staff in the United States? Yes. Do you have access to deleted Twitter posts? No. Does turning off Wi-Fi scanning in settings help? I'm not certain it will help at all, because I don't know what's in there. I'm guessing they turn off whatever is convenient for them to turn off. But don't assume that just because they give you that, because Wi-Fi scanning has many meanings. So I don't assume that will do everything. For example, does it turn off contact tracing? Hell no. All Twitter posts are stored. Can a de-Google phone be used with Company Portal and Defender? Probably, but I don't really know. I mean, I told you the rules of why it would work and not work in my video, de-Google phones in real life. And then the conditions are there. Normally, the reasons it doesn't work is because it uses in-app purchases. That does not work. Rather, move to another topic than the Google phones. I'm just answering whatever you're asking. Do Xiaomi phones collect a lot of data? Not if it's the Google, then what are they going to collect? Can Nexus 5X be the Google? Nexus 5X is a very bad model. It's not compatible with anything. Nexus 5 used to be the best as far as de-Googling. Nexus 5 is no longer supported, and then the 5X came out, and then the 6. And then the next one after that model is Pixel. So from now on, the only thing you can install on a Nexus 5 is Ubuntu Touch. That's it. Okay, what debit credit cards do you accept in your store? Any. You can do a PayPal invoice. Nice you own a boat. That to me or to somebody else? Have you... I don't want to talk about that, Al Padrino. Have you made an updated video on the phones you sell? This is the updated video on the phones I sell. We're doing it right now. Can Note 10 Plus be de-Googled? I answered that already, so... Okay, when will you sell new Linux Ubuntu Touch phones again? I don't sell Linux Ubuntu Touch phones. I install it for you. Since a Pine phone comes with Ubuntu Touch already, then you don't need my help. You just buy it from them. So I'm not here trying to make money. It's just, providing a service. My channel is the most important thing. It's important to, educate you. That's what this channel is about. Can you de-Google my Xbox? You have Google on your Xbox. You got a problem there. Are you a ham radio operator? Yes, I am. I have HF radios and I have handheld radios. I have radios in my car. I have radios by my bed. Yeah. Radios in my boat. And of course, my boat also has VHF for marine radio. So I have ham radios and marine radios. The answer is that you cannot de-Google a... The answer is no, I cannot. So you can check out later, you got to watch the beginning part of the video so you get a whole sense of what you should buy. Okay, can you de-Google my... she's always asked me what my location is. She should work for Google then. Jolly ho ho ho. How effective is uninstalling Google apps if one can't afford to de-Google the phone? I gave some instructions for the minimal you can do to have some effect. There's a video on that that you can watch. What to do with a Google phone. You can kind of do things like not log in. Oh, sorry, my microphone's far away. Sorry about that. So there's some things you can do to minimize the effect, like not using the store and all that. But generally speaking, you're not solving the problem unless you completely de-Google it. Did you watch my last video on cars void? Can you imagine being suicided by a car? Do you sell phone cases? I'm not a phone store, Gadden Low. I just offer a service to de-Google it. I buy the phone, I sell back to you. Which Linux is best again? What do you mean, which Linux? Rick Sheck is KG5VDW. All right, 73, Rick. The Mr. Who's the Boss made a video on Linux and the Google phones yesterday. Seems like he watches your channel. Many, of course, have taken the subject matter from me, including, Christitis and so many other people. It's fine. I mean, we want to spread the word. We want to spread the word. So, they take the topic from me. It's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Would be nice if they mentioned me on their channel, though. But other than that, I don't have any issues. So it's a free country. You can say whatever you want. Is Linux Mint on PC good for privacy? Any Linux is fine with me. When will you be on Joe Rogan's podcast? I will not be on Joe Rogan's podcast. You earn money if we buy your phone. You pay me for a service. So if you ask me to de-Google a phone, I actually have to hire somebody to do that. So, I don't do it myself. I hire somebody to de-Google the phone, and then we ship it to you. Have you de-Googled any phones for New Zealand? Many. I've many phones in New Zealand and Australia, UK, Netherlands, Brussels, Belgium, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Bulgaria, France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Channel Islands. Can't remember all the, I don't have many in Eastern Europe because they don't watch in English, but practically any country that speaks English has bought a Google phone from me, a de-Google phone from me. So pretty much a very big number. So happy to say. So it works everywhere. So most of my phones, except for one model, works internationally. Just one model is not made to work internationally. The rest are for international use. How can we get apps that were on Google Play? You watch my video on de-Googling a phone, and it tells you about Aurora Store and Micro G, and that's what we preload in there, and then it starts to behave like a Google phone by doing something called spoofing. It spoofs your identity. Is PinePhone better than de-Google for privacy? Not necessarily. PinePhone has hardware switches, so that has an advantage. De-Google is more usable. You tend to use more dangerous apps on an Android phone, obviously. But other than that, no, I wouldn't say so. I'd say they're both good. If you want to use PinePhone and you can handle the battery life problem and such, then it's fine. I'm supposed to get my Librem 5, so it's supposed to be released now. So haven't heard. I went to my account and to see what the status is. There's no status. Do you think Joe Rogan got paid to be censored? Uh, hey, if somebody pays me to censor myself, I'd probably say Zuck you. No, come on. He got paid 150 million. Okay, so 150 million. Yes, I have tried APRS and WinLink. Yes, not for messaging. You can't do any private messaging with that, but I have used it. Yes. My comments still hidden? No, your comments are not hidden. I don't block you, Mickey Leaks. You're my friend. Chris Titus has been nice to me. I'm nice to Chris Titus. Everyone's nice to me. I don't. Is there any channel that's not nice to me? No. Everyone's nice. We're not competitors here. We're all just doing our best and dealing with what we need to deal with to get our message and make a living at the same time. Looking for open source software, Utopia P2P. I don't know. Thank you, Hodalon. Thank you. What's privacy concern of tethering phone with anonymous name and no credit card attached to a Linux phone? What privacy concern of tethering iPhone? Well, how do you stop the spying of an iPhone? I suppose if you say, well, you reset it, but it knows who the last user is. You may not be currently logged in, but it knows the last one who logged in. Now, if you buy an iPhone from the store, not your phone, but you buy it, you sold yours and you bought another one and you use that, yeah, I guess that's okay. But on the other hand, you wonder to yourself, why do that? There's so many other options. Did Chris Titus install Debian drunk? Do you have to be sober to install Debian? 10:16 p.m. It's 9:16 here, not 10:16. Dutch Maz, congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, can you imagine that, guys? 100K. It's just I still left the Linode label on there. Yeah, it's kind of amazing, the ride here. So at the rate it's going, we may be at 200,000 by mid-year, and we'll see where it goes. My numbers are obviously growing at a much faster pace than most people. For some unknown reason, I don't really know why. I couldn't tell you. I don't have so good. I just do what I do and see what works. I have no idea why it works, but in fact, it didn't work for a year. So the first year I only got 8,000. But the first year I got 8,000 views, 8,000 subscribers. The second year I got 92,000 subscribers. Pretty interesting. How are you still on your tube, which is owned by Google, talking about de-Googling phones? Why not? You see, Google makes money from me. So because Google makes money from me, then they're happy to have me talk, even if it's against Google, because they make money. So we benefit from each other. So they make money from me, I can make money from them. So there we go. It's all fair. Okay, so if they start censoring me, then we have a problem, which they do censor. I have to control what I say. I used to have certain props on Periscope I can't even use. I can't use my props here. I used to have, well, I'm not even going to talk about what my props were, but I had props and can't use them on Google. I can't even say certain words. I can't even talk about, infectious diseases of any sort. I can only talk on the side about certain things like contact tracing without referring to what that is used for. That's the world we live in. And that's the world we live in, folks. And people are actually coming to my videos and say, "Oh, why are we like doing all this de-googling and all this waste of time, nonsense? This is all nonsense. It's like I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to fear. I'm not a criminal, so there's nothing going on." And it's like these people are so fucking stupid. I don't know what to say. Okay. If they don't even understand that if I control what you hear, the message, that I can change your opinion and change the world. All I have to do is change your opinions, like I received when I was young, living in a country with a dictatorship, and the dictator telling me he's excellent, he's good, he's perfect, and so because he makes you want to believe that, and that's what a dictator can do. So that's what somebody has the power of if they control the press and everything else and everything you see and hear. So for those stupid people who think that they have nothing to hide, nothing to protect, then you don't deserve any freedom. You should work. You should be at the CCP. Okay. So for those of you who have that philosophy where you have nothing to hide, whatever, you really belong with the CCP. Okay. If you want freedom, then you should not take this zucking thing. Okay. You're not here to be zucked. So it's crazy. I read those comments, my blood just boils, and I don't want to even answer. You answer for me. If you see those kinds of comments in my videos, please answer for me and tell them to, zuck the hell up, because I can't. I'm going to get censored. Can I use Linux as de-Googled phone? Yes, of course. Linux is de-Googled. But it's not even de-Googled because there's no Google on it. If you can. I lived in China for 5 years and know why privacy is important. So Robert Handy, so that was Chinese characters you posted there? I can't even tell because I don't read any Chinese. I can recognize some characters, but I wasn't sure. On the computer, I'm not sure. If I see it in real life, I can kind of tell if it's Chinese or Japanese or Korean. If it's in text on a computer, I can tell Korean, but sometimes I cannot tell Japanese or Chinese. Did I buy the 2000 Librem 5 Maxi Blue? I'm not zucking stupid. Think consumer data privacy laws will be updated? Hell no. Internalized oppression. So yeah, guys, my people. I think that I don't know this, okay? I think one of the reasons my channel is getting successful is because people are waking up, and I just happen to be there at the right time. I think. I don't think it's about me. I've been talking about the same topic for years, and people are not paying attention to me. And I have a feeling that people are paying attention to me now just because they're feeling it. They're starting to notice, and they have this distinct feeling that somebody's spying on them, and they're not sure why, and they're asking a question, and they happen to come up to my video and say, "Hey, this guy's talking about this." That's my theory, because I haven't changed topic. I've been talking about the same things, and often harassed for the last 6 years. Please go to Rumble if they censor you. Why would I go to Rumble? So a bunch of spammers came to my video and started talking about Rumble. Why Rumble? How many people are on Rumble? I went to all these platforms. It's very time consuming to do these platforms, and Library is very time consuming, but at least I get paid on Library. Have you been on an IT logos waker-upper for a while now? Yes. Yeah. Again, I was doing the same thing, talking about these topics for 4 years on Periscope. Again, no money. No. I was using my savings. Fortunately, I'm not poor. I've started companies before, and I'm not poor, so I can afford. I can afford a nice car, a nice house. Uh, so if you think that I suddenly became rich because I did YouTube videos, no, no, no. I've already been successful. I had a business, uh, and it's sold out of a business, and so I'm not poor. But doing this for many years without income and it's costing money, and so I had negative cash flow for a very, very, very long time. So instead of doing what I do best, which is write and architect software, I was doing this for the last 6 years. So I stopped making money for 6 years just to do this. So like I said, fortunately I'm not poor, so I'm able to do this. But obviously I can't do it forever if I'm being negative. So the channel runs because of your support. So if you support me, then the channel will keep growing because it gives me an incentive to do this. So because obviously I can just stop and then retire. It's getting late in LA, 10:25. It is not 10:25, it's 9:25. So we have 5 more minutes. In China, you cannot open any social media account without registering with your ID card, and people still try to compare us, US, with China. Yes, and they actually want the Chinese system. In fact, what actually is Facebook? Facebook is just like that. It's like an ID card and social score, your Facebook score. So you want to be CCP, do Facebook. Very CCP to do Facebook. So, the U.S. has facial recognition literally everywhere. Oh, yes. Now, in terms of that, I wouldn't say China is more. I would say, here in L.A., there's probably a lot more. In Soviet China, South Park watches you. I think you should keep going because of the truth. So I try, but you have to support me so that this becomes worth it. It's worth it when people join, and I got to 100K here, which is really a sign that it's worth it. I ask, is 100K enough for street cred? So I'm going to ask you, is 100K good street creds or not? Or I'm not there yet. Do I need to be at 1 million? Well, I think you're going to be a pretty rich person at 1 million, but I think so. I don't know. It's 100K street creds. So you tell me. Read super chat. Oh, did I miss a super chat there? Facial recognition. But did I miss a comment on the super chat? Hold on. Sorry, it was trust commercial firewalls. Yeah. Yeah, you would. There's no reason why they would work. They'll be tested. Commercial firewalls definitely will be tested. But they're not for your privacy. A commercial firewall is for the corporation's benefit, not yours. You're on your way. So I guess I'm not there. Is there an app that constantly creates fake IMU data? Somebody should make one. I just woke up. Happy 100K. Thank you. Thank you, Neil Skaya. Satellites are... Wow, the comments are coming in too fast now. Wow, hard to read this now. This is about the fastest I've seen the comments come in. I do use Lineage OS, also F-Droid and Orchestra, but sometimes I cannot convince my friend on Signal, like platforms and whatever they... you know what, Sarath Kumar? The fact of the matter is, you make a choice, and you don't need to care what other people say. My family said, "Oh, we can't leave Facebook. We're on Facebook." So I said, bye, Zuck you. I'm not going to be on Facebook. I'm not going to let you take photos of me to put on Facebook. Bye-bye. So that's it. And I left Facebook in 2012. So that's 8 years ago. So my own relatives now are actually telling me how they're actually starting to rethink their presence on Facebook, and they're starting to realize the evil of that. And it took them, 8 years to realize it. So you have to make a choice and make a stand. And you say, I am not going to WhatsApp. I'm not going to go to that platform. I'm not going to talk to you on whatever. Period. You want to talk to me? Come to me. Otherwise, I'm not going to talk to you. So, why are you driven to follow whoever? It's like you be independent. XMPP. There you go. Abu. Yes. XMPP. So XMPP is the way to go. If you can convince your friends and family to say, we are done with all this texting and all of this, and, we'll just use XMPP. Everyone should be on XMPP. Use it like email. XMPP. The world will be better if we use XMPP. My relatives thought I was paranoid 8 years ago, and they're starting to get it. Yes, that's the same with me. So anyway, we're running out of time now. So my browser doesn't like... thanks for the clarity, bro. Okay, so... yeah, so again, the issue is you got to take a stance and say, I'm not in touch with family and friends from because I'm not on Facebook, and so what? I made new friends. Okay, you're all friends. Made many friends on BraxMe, and sometimes they come to BraxMe and sometimes they don't. If they don't, then it's their problem. I'm not going to go worry about it. So XMPP is what you should use for messaging. Becca, XMPP. I need to make a video on that, but XMPP is the best way to do messaging. So on your phone, you can use Conversations on Android, or any XMPP client on iPhone. On your computer, you use Gajim, Gajim, Gajim. And so you can talk on a computer, on a phone, on an app. Let me type it out. Gajim. Okay? So that's what you use for instant messaging. And if you can get your family on that, there's no metadata, there's no phone numbers. It's perfect. Okay? Gajim. XMPP. So that's what you want to use for messaging, XMPP. That's the protocol. You need different kinds of clients. The protocol is called XMPP. So if you use XMPP with something called OMemo, that's the encryption method, OMemo, then you'll be perfect. I can see your MAC address. Awesome. IPv6 in the house. So anyway, can Discord be trusted? I'm not going to trust it. I just told you, XMPP. And if you want to chat, BraxMe reached a milestone. It surpassed 22,000 members on BraxMe. So, it's growing. So come join BraxMe, which is my app, and it's where people who are privacy focused are talking, and you can bring your friends there. It's free. Okay, so thank you, Brian. Is Astra Chat? All XMPP clients got to be good, right? But some don't support OMemo, so that's what you got to choose if they support OMemo. Otherwise, it's up to you. You can use any of them. It doesn't make any difference which. OMemo is a checkbox on Gajim or on Conversations or any XMPP client. So when you turn on OMemo, then it encrypts. So if it can do that, then you're all set. You're on end-to-end encryption. Okay. What's a domain? There's no domain. XMPP is a protocol. So there are many servers, many clients. My XMPP that I'm sharing with you is called xmpp.brax.live, but it's not permanent yet. Okay, so you can use it for testing. Okay, so if you download a client and it says which one do you want to use as your XMPP server, xmpp.brax.live, you can use that for free and get started. And then you can set up a XMPP server using go to Linode. I have mine on Linode and use I don't know how to pronounce it. Prosody. What is the securest app for Android? What is the securest app for Android and iPhone? XMPP. Okay? Okay, XMPP. I haven't made a video about it yet, but I've been talking about it for several videos now. XMPP. Okay, so I'm out of time, so watch phone for private cryptocurrency on-ramps to other wallets. I don't know. I use incognito.org. I use the Incognito app. Don't talk to me about anything WhatsApp. How can there be anything good with WhatsApp? I actually sat down. Why does Fallout 4 have a sit-down option? Interesting. Okay, so I got to learn all, so any guys trying out Cyberpunk? I haven't tried it yet. Not that I have time to play games, but don't have time to play games. But when I figured out all the other games, then maybe I'll try that one out. Okay, guys. Thank you, and talk to you on next Friday, and have a video. I'll see. Is Signal XMPP? No. Okay. Just to say what is the difference between Signal, Telegram, WhatsApp, and XMPP? XMPP has no phone number. It has no metadata. Okay? XMPP has none of that. So you create an identity, whatever it is, and that's it. That's all that's known about you. So that's why it's good. No metadata, no phone numbers, no contact list to upload, none of that. So XMPP. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. And thank you again for bringing